welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let us get it started. Breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. Zdeno Chara is leaving the Bruins of his own fruition, moving to the Washington Capitals for $750,000. First of all, Zdeno Chara, remarkable career here in Boston. But to me, I'm not roasting him. It's really the narrative on Zdeno Chara is what didn't happen, which is meaning more than one Stanley Cup. And that's his career here.
Great career. One of the all-time great defensemen in the history of the NHL, if you ask me.
Right, absolutely. Did everything the Bruins could ask, but Timmy, they should have won. The combination of Bergeron, Marchand, and Chara should have won more than one.
Let me regress a little bit. I mean, I was basically boycotting the Bruins at one point because Jeremy Jacobs just would not open the purse strings. They were a low-budget team. You know, the Boston fans and the Bruins fans are absolutely lemmings. No matter, there came the point where even the most diehard hockey fans in Boston were giving up on the Bruins because of Jeremy Jacobs and his failure to open the pocketbook. When they got Zdeno Chara, that was a piece of granite moving. Something changed when they got Chara. Like the Jacobs' philosophy, that was a signal that something was changing and that the Bruins had actually made up their mind to perhaps compete for a championship in this league.
Yeah, Russ, he definitely moved the dial, Russ, Chara. And,
yeah, I mean, I think he was the symbol that they were going to compete. And to your question, should they have won more? I say, yeah, but then at the same time, they were who couldn't clear the puck against Chicago? Was it Krejci or? Yeah,
it was Krejci. Yeah, that's why I hate him.
And we were right there in that series. And then, we lost game 7. They didn't show up in game 7. So you say, all right, we had 3 legitimate cracks at it and we only won 1. You would think we would have won one of the others, right?
For sure.
But neither of those are his fault, right? So you just say, look, the guy got us, the guy took us into a new era, right?
Yeah, and Joe, it's one more than Ray Bourque ever won us.
Yeah, and but I think Bourque and Orr and Pack all won a lot more Norris trophies. I think Zero only won 1, and it wasn't with the Bruins.
But different type of player, though. This guy was those guys were
being so big.
Yeah, those guys were
Kevin Durant.
Full-on two-way Brian Leetch, Ray Bourque, defenseman. Whereas this guy was he defined the stay-at-home defenseman, right, Timmy? Like
at our end, there haven't been much better. From the blue line in, there haven't been much better. And he had a tremendous outlet pass ability. He would hit guys breaking out of the zone as good as anyone who's ever played this game. And what I loved about him was the baddest dude in the freaking planet.
God.
You know what I mean?
When he decided to beat the hell out of somebody, he beat the hell out of somebody, and he probably stopped more funny business, from going on against the Bruins over the last 10 years plus than any player ever has. I don't care if his name is Stan Jonathan. No one messed with Zdeno Chara ever.
And Chara he didn't lose a fight though his whole career.
No. That's what I'm going to miss. I'm a fan of old time hockey, and he was the last vestige of anybody tough on that bench. I hate to say, we're like a little weakling. I mean, I know the league has gone to speed and skill, but I still miss that old, rock'em sock'em hockey. And
well, we'll miss him. He had a great career. It's definitely time for him to go, whether it was to retire or go to another team. I'm not going to miss him as far as moving forward. His abilities.
Well, I differ my opinion than that, Scotty. I still think he was an extremely effective penalty killer, and just his presence on the team was helpful in my view. I would certainly have walked him back for another year.
Yeah, as a sixth, seventh defenseman, no more.
Well, penalty killing specialist. When things get physical out there, send him out there for a shift or two. You know what I mean?
I know he was
There
tough
wasn't
to
really
watch.
room on the roster, and they got a lot of kids that they want to move up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
And
when they're,
Stidham should have stepped aside for the sake of the team.
I'm a little closer to Timmy. I don't think he's played particularly well over the last couple of years, but man, when we're going to see a lot of young guys scrambled around in their own end next year. I mean, with the chickens with their heads cut off.
And
No,
to
that-
Jimmy's point, they won't be able to make the outlet pass.
No.
Well, I'll tell you something. Chara made the adjustment to his speed. I've never seen he's one of the greats at it. There was one year where he was really getting exposed because of his lack of speed. He adjusted his game to the speed he could go now. He played better 2 years ago than he did 4 years ago, I thought, so he made the adjustment.
yeah. Well, great career, great signing. He's a legend in the Bruins, and his number 33 will be up there in the rafters in the next couple of years. That's for sure. All right, go to the Celtics.
Scotty can't move on from hockey fast enough.
We're talking about we did 7 minutes more than we've done in months. I know what you're talking about.
That's a new record on the Grandstanders.
How much do you want? All right. We won't put number 11 in the rafters just yet, but Peyton Pritchard, he's not on the court yesterday against Indiana, we're 1-3 today.
Can we play the tape from 2 weeks ago on who I thought was gonna? The question was who was gonna surprise us this year?
You had Peyton Pritchard. All right, there you go. I'm glad.
I'll take one out of 1,000.
We needed it. No, look, Timmy, we needed it. We needed that energy. We needed to have a backup point guard. And he came in and he did everything you could ask for in a guy in a really desperate situation. They lose that game yesterday. They're 1-3 going into tonight's game against Memphis with some injuries. Things could go south real quick.
You know what? He might be Marcus Smart, but with a shot. You know what I mean? A Marcus Smart that can shoot.
Yeah, I mean, Smart is
a lot of control sometimes.
Well, but Smart is a much bigger player. I mean, Smart's 6'4" plus. This guy is listed at 6'2". I think he's probably closer to 6'1". But look, I think we all do, or particularly me as the lead dog on draft night when he picked Pritchard. I said to you guys in a text, he just took a second rounder in the first round, and we all went bananas. And let me tell you something. This guy came into the NBA ready to play, in the NBA.
He's a gym rat. You can tell right off the bat.
Well, 4 years.
I like how all the players seem to have a nickname for him. Thompson calls him Double D. Tatum calls him 8 Mile. They all got a nickname for him.
Yeah. Well, look. Guys like Brogdon, who came out after 4 years of being in college, and look what a great player that he was later in the second round. But Pritchard, he reminds me a lot of Van Fleet of Toronto, who are similar size, similar games, and I take that any day.
It's a great point, Scotty. You get guys like Van Fleet, Jalen Brunson, Malcolm Brogdon, guys that are sturdy. This guy's he weighs 215 pounds. Brogdon probably weighs 220. Van Fleet, the same thing. These are smaller guys, but they're men.
Yeah,
and they're ready. And they're not scared of the contact, and they're confident after playing 4 years in college. It's terrific to see.
When he took on Sabonis and then went up with the 3-point play, that's all I needed to know. That's a guy in his third game in the fourth game in the NBA. He's not afraid of anything.
Nope.
Sabonis too, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. Look, the weakness in this team, he didn't like Hayward, but when Hayward was healthy and on the floor, he could handle the ball, right?
Yeah.
And he was a playmaker. And without Kemba and without Hayward, you're down to basically Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and whatever you get out of Jeff Teague. Because Jaylen Brown's not there yet. I mean, he may get there. He's not there yet. This kid is another playmaker. That's exactly what this team needs.
Yeah. And Thompson, everything that we could have wanted out of a player. He's actually leading the league right now in offensive rebounds. And when's the last time we could say a Boston Celtic led the league in offensive rebounds? Even for
maybe because he's the only one of the Celtics that can get a rebound.
Yeah.
No, look, that's right. Absolutely.
That is a small team. We are playing.
Cantor was a terrific rebounder, but he couldn't play defense, and he got run off the court. And this guy is a terrific rebounder, but he can play defense and he can roll it to the rim. He's a tough guy. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice pickup. And, I know Jeff Teague's had a couple of bad games, but Jeff Teague, during the course of the season, as I told you before, that's a great pickup. Another great veteran presence. And I wish Teague and Thompson had been on mid-season trades in the deadline, and I want to see how that team would have developed.
Let me ask you guys a question, though, because it strikes me that Brad and Danny have a decision to make, right? Like, they've got a lot of young guys, and you got to figure out who you have in these young guys. You got to figure out who you have in Pritchard, in Williams, and Time Lord, and in Neesmith, right? And you're only going to find out if you play him. But if you play him, you're going to lose some games, that you would have won otherwise. Are we comfortable after 30 games, right around the trade deadline?
500?
This team's 500, but we know what we have. Like, he's gotten these kids time, and we know, like, yes, this kid can play and this kid can't, and we could trade. We need another thing. I think we have to be comfortable with that, don't you?
Yes, 100%, because the biggest problem they had in the playoffs is they only had a rotation of 7 guys.
Yeah.
Whereas Miami was going to 11 or 12. We got to get these guys involved now, get them their reps, see if they can play, establish a second unit.
That's right.
Nice to see Williams and Pritchard and Time Lord and everyone get minutes where last year they didn't.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Javonte Green, they're trying to stick him in there. And I thought it was just, some good, some bad, obviously, from a guy who doesn't play much yesterday. Whether he is a good enough shooter to play 20 minutes a game, that's a big question.
Yeah, unclear. I mean, he's a bit role player. He's just biding time. I think Brad wants to give Neesmith, another couple of weeks to get his feet under him. And you'd want to see Neesmith in instead of Javonte Green. That's for sure. We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah, hopefully Neesmith plays tonight against the Grizzlies because they're shorthanded.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the time, Russ? What's the timeline on Romeo?
I bet you probably February, first
February of what year, Russ?
Yeah.
2048.
It's a big problem, because he'd be playing a lot right now. That's unfortunately, he'd be playing 25 minutes a night right now. And this is all development time that he's missing. It's too bad,
I don't know. I think we're going to look back.
So if Neesmith gets in, how many shots would you like to see him take?
I'd like to see him take 5-6 shots a game, right?
At least.
Yeah.
Get the numbers up so you get a true feel of where he's really at. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's not fair. Look, they had 2 weeks of training camp, 2 exhibition games, and it's not unfair to think that a guy like Neesmith would need more development than this.
Yeah, you don't want to throw him in and he gets overwhelmed and petrified to put shots up and to make mistakes. You want him in there when he can be. That's the thing about Pritchard. That guy walks into the game. He's got swagger. He looks like he's been in the league for 5 years already.
Well, he's 3 months older than Tatum.
Yeah.
I know, that's crazy, right?
Crazy.
Okay,
Jalen Brown calls him the kid. Jalen Brown's only a year older than him.
A year older than him.
We got spoiled. We got spoiled growing up. Everyone that came into the league back in the day had 4 years of college under them.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, right.
Guys, they were more seasoned by the time the finished product got to us.
Look, Jason Tatum's already in a max deal at 23 years old. It's pretty remarkable. But I talk about Jason Tatum. I don't know how tough Jason Tatum is. To be honest with you, I don't know how many more times I have to see at the end of quarters, at the end of games, Jason Tatum, instead of driving to the basket, is taking away fadeaway 30-footers. That needs to stop right away. because that's not.
Especially when you're down by one.
Yeah, look,
What do they
I
say?
don't know. It's remains to be seen whether it's a toughness issue, Scotty, or is it a judgment issue, right? And I don't know, I don't know how to ascribe his motivation, but the outcome is right. He should not be taking 30-foot shots for game winners.
I just saw a stat. The last 6 times they were down by one, and Tatum took the final shot. All 6 times, 5 of the times he took a step back, and 5 of the times he took a 3.
Yeah.
You can't be taking 3-point shots when you're down by one.
And you know he didn't call backboard on the one he hit.
No. But look, it's a guy that only has had has he had 2 or 3 free throws the whole season? He's avoiding contact.
Right. Although he took
Let's say he did drive a little.
I think he got the message because he had 10 foul shots last night.
Right.
And let's see what he does tonight. I mean, look, I think he's got to be, to your point, Scotty, he's got to be willing to draw real hard contact. That's what the best players do. James Harden's done that. All those guys will take it in and they will get clobbered and they will subject themselves to that over and over again. And he has to get used to it.
He looks like he
I guess he's not playing tonight, though.
Tatum's not playing?
No. So they're gonna baby these guys, with this.
Well, he did have a. I noticed that he played with a wrap on his left finger. I'm fine. This is gonna be a tough season, right?
Yeah.
Back-to-backs all over the place. They got 4 games this week in 5 and 6 nights. So take it easy. This is the playoffs. Remember, this is the year. Playoff seeding is not going to matter. There's no home court advantage in the NBA. As long as you get the 6th seed or above, you're fine. You don't want the 7th because you're in a play-in. But who cares if they get the 6th seed this year?
Yeah, look at the Miami Heat. They did pretty well for it.
It doesn't matter.
And boys, the NBA finally figured it out after 70 years. What baseball's been doing forever is you only go to Indiana once. You go to Indiana. If you have 2 games this season, you play on Sunday like they did, and then you play on Tuesday, and then you get the hell out of Indiana. Finally, it took things like the pandemic to figure this out. But that's going to work out very well for everybody.
You wonder if it'll stick when the pandemic's over.
Well, Timmy, I don't know how they could go back to that ludicrous system where they had to fly back into the same city.
It makes so much sense.
I don't know. I don't know what the dollars and cents are behind it, but
I think the only argument against it is, whether they get that second night if they get the ratings, because you just saw them. But Mike, hopefully they'll get a big enough sample size and figure out doesn't matter. The ratings are just as good.
It also builds that little animosity after the first game, and it kind of, you're going to get a lot of guys being a little more chippier, which is exactly what we want to see. All right, I'm not ready to put Brad Stevens on the chopping block yet, but I'm telling you, any coach that allows Daniel Tice to shoot 3-pointers during the course of the game is not a coach that I'm interested in.
Yeah, he's been starting Thompson and Tice, and if you're going to do that, someone else has got to be able to shoot. And I think his rotations have not. They were better last night, but his rotations have not been good, and he's got guys doing things they shouldn't be doing, which is Tice taking 3-pointers.
Yeah, we're seeing across the NBA. There's a lot of talent in the NBA now, from the first team to the last team, and what these guys are great shooters. And you cannot spend your time with Shemis, the Grant Williams, and Tice's throwing up threes.
It's a 3-point league, man. You better be able to hit the 3 if you want to stick around in this league.
That's a great point to me. And is a guy like Grant Williams, was he meant to be playing a decade ago? Is he meant for this type of modern basketball?
He reminds me of someone who would have been on the Detroit team with, the bad.
Yeah, I don't know if his game translates to the modern day game, to be honest with you.
Who's that?
Grant Williams.
Well, hopefully he's going to play better. He has not started well. And, we saw him. He was a really good player in the playoffs, and you need to see that again. And it just, look, one thing I'd consider with Williams is instead of starting Thompson and Tice, why wouldn't I put Williams in with some good other players and see if he can be a connector glue guy as opposed to a guy that needs to be depended on in the second unit,
Yeah, and
He started
another
out only last year. Remember?
Right.
What he was like first 30 shots.
Play him with the starters and let him do Grant Williams things as opposed to put him in the second unit and all of a sudden he feels like he's gotta like help run the second unit. I don't want him running.
Can we see this guy getting some weight on him eventually and getting some muscle? Because he's got to beef up. He's getting pushed around.
Who's that? Time Lord or
Time
Grant
Lord,
Williams?
Time,
Oh,
look, yeah, we're talking Robert Williams. Look, yeah, that's a segue to Robert Williams. Look, I think effort was the big question when Robert Williams came out of college, and this guy is running from one end to the other. He beat Sabonis down the court for a dunk yesterday. I'm like, if that's Robert Williams, I'm buying all that.
Yeah, Sabonis doesn't get beat too often.
No,
Well, that's another criticism I had of Brad last night, where after the first game against Indy, Brad said Rob was the best big on the floor, and through it at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter last night, Robert Williams had played 5 minutes.
yeah, right.
Night. And then he put him in, and that whole game changed last night when Time Lord came in.
Yeah.
Total burst of energy. That's when the comeback started. He's got to play. He's got to get him into the lineup in situations like that.
Well, I felt Williams was a difference maker in the Toronto series last year. I really did. I thought the way he altered the shots for the guards and Lowry and Van Fleet, it was a game changer.
Yep.
Well, you got to sneak him in, or otherwise they pick on him defensively. But if you sneak him in, he's a big time impetus for that team. He blocks shots. He'll get you your dunks. He can make the kind of things that get a team rolling.
Well, I can tell you guys, we're having a sports show in the next few months. It's going to be fun to talk about the Celtics. There's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of personalities. When we go to the Patriots, embarrassing is the first word I thought of that Monday night football game. Oh, and we all quit on the Patriots also. I've never seen a Patriots team in the last 20 years give that lack of effort.
Oh, especially that second half. They were just going through the motions. That was horrible. We might see that again against the dog-ass Jets. Everyone's most hated team. We can lose to the Jets very easily.
Well, yeah, the Jets are already cemented in the second spot, so it doesn't really matter if they win or lose. But a loss by the Patriots could bring them down to as low of a 10th pick in the draft, and that's enticing.
Hey, the more losses, the better at this point. I mean, I'm just putting it up as a lost year, a crazy year, opt-outs, Brady left. We were ready to take one on the chin, and I'm not that upset about it.
Yeah,
Well,
I would add into that, it's got to be really weird for these guys to play football without fans. You talk about a sport where you get energy. It's more like hockey than anything else. Like just not having the crowd noise as when you're at home to help drown out the other team's signals. It's got to be really, really weird to be playing basically scrimmage quality football out there week after week.
This year has a big asterisk next to it, in my view.
Weird.
It sure does. But we're never going to get that time back in our life that we talked about Jared Stidham as a quarterback of the New England Patriots. As bad as Cam Newton was, which was historic, Jared Stidham came in there and was worse than Cam Newton.
What were they smoking down in Foxborough all summer watching this kid and so high on him?
I got to be honest with you, Timmy. I think they knew he couldn't play. I mean, that's why they get like. Why were they pumping him? Why were they pumping his tires so much?
Trevor, it's your theory, Timmy.
Who was pumping his tires?
No, the franchise, the media, whoever.
It was just a big smoke screen. That's all.
I didn't see them pumping his tires once camp started.
No. I'm talking about before we got Cam.
Oh, yeah.
Before we got Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. Timmy's right.
They were building him up. He's just the guy we want. He's on track. Blah blah blah. He can throw every ball and.
The Boston Globe
information, a misdirection campaign. That way, no one knows that they're looking for a quarterback. Because if they know you're looking for a quarterback, they're going to hold you before first in 3 seconds.
The Boston Globe did a poll, I remember, on Twitter. Will Jarrett Stidham throw 30 or more touchdown passes or 30 or less touchdown passes? He can't even make a 10-yard throw.
Yeah, it's not good.
And that's why you guys think I'm joking with Jimmy G. After seeing these two pieces of trash play quarterback for the Patriots, will you at least give me the fact that Jimmy G makes all the throws?
And in the 3 games he plays,
When Jimmy G's on the field, he can make all the throws.
from his wheelchair, he makes the throws.
San Francisco wins when Jimmy G plays.
Jimmy G has played.
Loses when he doesn't play.
Jimmy G has played half the games he was supposed to. And you know what? Here's one thing about Jimmy G that I don't know if Scotty knows. Guess how many interceptions Jimmy G has thrown in the 31 games that he started?
31.
31.
No, not 30. No, not a chance. I would say 25.
26.
All
That's
right.
a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he also led the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl last year.
This is the same guy who bashes Gordon Hayward for getting injured.
Oh, just hammers him.
Scotty, how do you look yourself in the mirror? How do you look yourself in the mirror?
Oh, you got to be kidding. Gordon Hayward.
Yourself.
Oh, my God.
Gordon Hayward.
Oh, my God.
Gordon has injury. And then you
serious?
fool over this guy. They're the same, like as Russell said. Has anyone ever seen him in the same room? I mean,
Timmy,
That's bullshit.
only one explanation. He likes his men swarthy.
I'm
That's
telling you,
bullshit.
he likes that. He
You're
likes that
crazy.
3-day
Gordon Hayward.
double look. You know.
He
I'm
likes his
still
men
waiting for Gordon
swarthy.
Hayward to contribute to one victory of the Celtics.
He likes his men swarthy. That's the only
So
explanation.
if
because
Gordon
they're the
Hayward
same
would
guy.
maybe had that European look to him. Scotty might not be
They're
bashing.
the same guy. Same guy.
I don't like that slick Pat Riley look that Gordon
That
was going with.
Scandinavian look.
Yeah, yeah, right. You guys, I just want to mention that for Uncle Joe, Sony Michel, I don't know what, maybe he smoked crack before the game. I have never seen him that fast.
Well, that's because that's a man that knows he's lost his job. Got a little more motivation.
Yep.
And I just want to say the season's going to end on Sunday. Thank you, James White, for your career here in Patriots. Obviously, he'll be going elsewhere. That guy has been fantastic. And another great line with the Kevin Folks of the world.
Same as Joe. Joe Tooney's going to be gone, right, Joe? I figure he's played his last game.
Yeah. People around the league, appreciate the things he can do. That most guys cannot do. They don't have the speed or the smarts to do.
He'll be on something. He'll get paid.
I don't know why the Patriots can't pay him. They've got plenty of cap space. I mean, they're going to just have to replace a guy like Joe Tooney, which is going to be very difficult. Why not give this guy $15 million a year?
It's not how they do it.
They don't pay that much to guards. Even Logan Mankins, perennial All-Pro, they wouldn't give it to him.
I don't know, but I'm not completely saying that it's a fait accompli that he's off the team next year. I think they're going to go a run for him.
Oh, they'll give him an offer, but it won't be as much as someone else offers them.
Right.
All right, so the Patriots play the Jets Sunday. Are you going to even watch this game?
Yeah, I watch them all.
All right. Okay.
I
All right.
watched the 1 o'clock game, the 4 o'clock game, the 8 o'clock game, the Monday night game, the Thursday night game, the Tuesday night game. I watch them all.
We're all going to watch
I've
it.
at least heard every single game the Patriots organization has ever played, starting from that very first game up on at Braves Field.
All right. With that, yeah.
What's that about? A couple hundred yards from your house?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, then we got your predictions. All right, Rusty boy, tell me what you think.
I think they're going to lose, actually. I think the Jets got a little mojo. They've played well the last 5 or 6 games. There's nothing left for the Patriots to play with. Played for us 19-17.
The Patriots lose. All right, Timmy.
I'm just still kicking myself in the butt that I didn't find someone to place a bet against the Patriots last week. That was the surest money that I ever saw in my life, was that against Buffalo. I'm going with the Jets. I'm going with the Jets 27-14. I don't see the Patriots having any. They'll get 14 defensive points. That's the only points they'll get.
Maybe special. Oh, I'm inclined to be with Russell, but I'll even set the bar lower. 13-10.
Yeah. Patriots get wiped out. Bill Belichick wants that top 10 pick if possible. But remember, also, it makes the second round pick a better pick and the third round pick or whatever. So, yeah, absolutely. Patriots lose 24-3 because our offense is horrific. All right.
Every Jets win knocks them down further in the draft, too, right?
No, Jets are all set.
They're locked in.
Too. They're all set. We end with the Red Sox. And my rumor that I'm hearing, the Grandstanders Live rumor, the hottest rumor in sports, Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs going to the Red Sox in a trade. Oh, I would like that. He'd be perfect for Fenway.
Do the Red Sox have anything that the Cubbies want? They want young talent. They want to rebuild.
Yeah, well, the Red Sox have some. I would imagine this is more of a salary dump, so I don't know if they have to even give up much.
Yeah.
But I'd give up one of the top 10 prospects. You could give up like the top 8, an 8 prospect in the Red Sox system for Chris Bryant. Absolutely.
Scotty loves a right-handed pull power hitter in Fenway Park. He was a big fan of Jack Clark back in the day.
Rico Petrocelli.
Well, I still haven't got over Mr. Jenny Dell. I just thought for the next 15 years we're gonna have this big guy playing third base, right-handed hitter.
Guys. What would you do? Move Devers to first base at that point?
Absolutely, yeah. Devers is a first baseman.
Scotty, how old is this Bryant dude?
Bryant's. I think he's only 5 years in the league.
Yeah, early 30s.
And he actually, no, I would say in the 20s,
late 20s.
And he's married to a woman, a young lady from York, Maine. So there you go. I've actually seen him on the beach before. Yes,
that's where he's heard this rumor.
Yeah, there you go. I'm hearing it out of Maine.
29 years old.
Yeah, 29 years old. Look, if you got to make a splash, getting a guy like Chris Bryant.
By the way, he hit 206 last year.
Well, but there you go.
He'll fit right in with the Red Sox.
We're buying low.
We're buying low. Yeah, but the season prior, he had 31 home runs.
So you would trade Tristan Casas, our basically our number one.
No.
Okay.
He's our number one prospect.
That's where you get off the bus.
Yeah, I'm giving you some 19-year-old guy who plays in the Dominican Republic right now. That's what I'm giving to. No, Tristan Casas.
He turned down a $200 million deal from the Cubs.
Bryant?
Yeah.
Well, that was a major mistake. You'll
never get that money back.
And just FYI for you fellas, if you're ever offered $200 million for anything, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, that's our show for the last show of 2021. Of course, thank Corbin behind the scenes. Want to thank the fellas for all your support and your great knowledge of sports the whole 2020. Hopefully 2021 will be a lot better. We can go back into the studio and finally get to see each other. I haven't seen Rusty Boy in over a year in person, so we need to stop that. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy New Year.